Well, hey everybody, Andy here. Thanks for joining me today. And today we're going to talk about one of the best values in hammock insulation. That's the Hammock Gear Underquilts, the Econ Incubator, and the Econ Phoenix. So if you're new to the channel, this channel is all about backpacking, outdoor adventures, and gear, most definitely gear, and a few tips and tricks along the way too. So if any of those things interest you, consider subscribing, and then you'll be alerted every time I post new content. And there is a lot of new content coming. So sit back and relax, and let's dive right in. So Hammock Gear is a great company that does a lot of different things for your hammocking needs. Not only do they make hammocks themselves, but they also do the insulation, and if you need tarps, gear, other types of things, they got you covered. But today we're going to focus specifically on the insulation options that they are well known for. And these two are the Incubator, which is the full-length underquilt, and the three-quarter length underquilt, which is called the Phoenix. And these are the Econ level, okay? So they're the budget-friendly options for those that are getting into hammocking. Now, why do you need these? So just like tent camping, where you're going to need insulation to keep warm as the temperature gets cooler, having some kind of insulation is essential. So whereas on a tent you're going to use an air mat or some kind of other insulation between you and the ground, in a hammock you need insulation between your underside and the air that's passing underneath the hammock. So instead of using an air pad, in most cases people opt for an underquilt. Now this just hangs underneath your hammock and provides insulation so that the colder outside air doesn't come in contact with your skin. Now you also have a top quilt which will go on top, which will help you regulate temperature above you. But the underquilt takes care of that air pad kind of insulation when you switch from tent camping to hammock camping. So these are the two options that you have available to you at the Hammock Gear website. You can get the three-quarter length model, which is called the Phoenix, or the full length model, which is called the Incubator. And these are both in the economy line. The Incubator is a little bit shorter. It's meant to just cut a little bit of weight, easier to carry. That tends to be my summer setup, where the Incubator is longer, provides better coverage, and it's going to be warmer. So I bought this in the 40-degree model and the Incubator in the 20-degree model. Well, the first reason that I'm so high on Hammock Gear's underquilts is the quality. If you look at the stitching, the materials that they use, the hardware that's included, it's all very quality stuff. The stitching has been great. They use an 800 fill duck down that has been great, very warm, very packable, very light. The down is treated also with a water resistance, so it doesn't absorb water quite as easily if it does happen to get wet. And to also protect against that, you have a 20 denier fabric that's used for the outer, and that also has been treated with a durable water repellent, so it tends to shed water even if it does get splashed on, and then the down itself won't absorb water quite as quickly as an untreated down would. I've been very, very pleased with the overall quality of these. There's been very little that I've been dissatisfied with, but I will talk about that later. But the quality overall I would grade very highly. Now, the second reason why I find these such a great value is the number of features that these have built in to the economy line as just standard. So you've got everything from the hardware, and the suspension design that they use is outstanding. Each one of these has a built-in draft collar that's no additional charge. You have box baffle system, which is a heavier, it has more material to it, but a much better insulating system than sewn through baffles. So these provide channels for the down to sit through, and instead of pinching off the ends, the material, there's an extra flap of material that hangs in between. You also have an extra layer inside that box baffle a material that hangs down that helps keep the down in place. And I found that these have just been amazingly warm because of those features. And lastly is you also have contoured baffles. So the baffles, the way that they've designed them are kind of, anatomically designed to fit the human form. So there definitely is a curvature to the channels the way that they've been designed. So extremely comfortable, tons of features, easy to adjust. Just great for a entry-level economy line is fantastic. Now, also included too in these is you get a cotton stuff sack to store them in, and you also get a nylon kind of stuff sack too for bringing out on trail. Both of those are just included in the base price. Now, lastly, the third reason why these are such a great value is ultimately the price. On a Phoenix 40 degree, which is their warmest, base entry price, it's $110. That's outstanding. And on the full length Incubator, again on the 40 degree model, $140. So when you compare that to other makers out there, down, high quality stuff, well made, there's just nothing else out there that provides that kind of price point with this kind of quality and the number of features that this has. So you put those three together and you get an amazingly great value for an entry point into down underquilts. Now, these quilts do have some drawbacks. They're made out of thicker material, and although that is more durable, it also makes them quite a bit heavier. So if you wanted to go more ultralight, you can look at changing and going to a premium line and then customizing the material that you use. Instead of using a 20 denier fabric, you can use a 10 denier fabric, and some have 7 denier fabrics. The other thing that you can do is an 800 fill duck down is pretty good, but there are other vendors that offer 850, 900, and up for the fill power. So, lighter weight amount of down, again, lightens the load. So there are some other options. And the one thing that I will say is on the suspension for my Phoenix is they come with plastic S-beaners, and I had one that just the spring gave out on it after a lot of use. Now they're very inexpensive to replace, and I just upgraded a little bit and put on a metal, this is a number 1 S-beaner, so that again it's just a little bit more durable than the plastic ones that they come with. But other than that, I've had no issues, so take that for what it's worth. Now, and lastly, the last kind of con against the Econ line is there's very few customizations that you can do. They're going to ask you, what colors do you want to use? They're going to ask you what rating, what temperature rating do you want to use? So this is a 20 degree rating, this is a 40 degree rating. But there's not much more than that. So you don't get to choose the materials, you don't get to choose the down unless you bump up to the premium line. So, it does have a lot of features, but they're built in, and then the ability to customize just really isn't there. Well, if you found that information useful, please go ahead and give me a like. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave those down below. I'm happy to comment and respond to any questions about the gear. We all want to make sure that we're getting stuff that fits us. So please go ahead and leave those comments and questions down below. And again, that's the Hammock Gear Underquilt Econ line, the full-length Incubator, and the 3/4 length Phoenix. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time, be well.